What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Second Avenue Podcast. I'm your host, Jonathon and Elijah.
I'm your other host, Elijah Venezia. Welcome back, everybody. It has been it's been a minute for us. We haven't recorded in 2 weeks. Been a minute for me on camera. It has been over 3 weeks for that. So welcome back, everybody. We missed you. I was going through a sickness last weekend, paired with my Philadelphia Eagles.
Mm.
Had to make the Super Bowl something slight, of course. So gonna be cheering them on next weekend for the Super Bowl. So may have a little bit earlier in episode. We're gonna figure out a date though this week for that. So I'm glad to be back though. Feels so great to be doing this again. Of course, even though it's a 1 week break, it feels like it's been
Yeah,
forever.
it really does. Like every time we take a little bit of a break, when I sit down, I'm like, this all just feels so foreign, so new, but it also feels like normal. Like it feels good to be back. I'm ready to get today's episode. I mean, we got to start off with some thank yous. Thank you guys so much for the love you guys have shown. While we've been gone, we celebrated our 1 year anniversary of the podcast. We haven't talked about that here on an episode. We talked about it on Instagram. If you're not following us already, go follow us on Instagram at Second Avenue Pod. But thank you guys so much for the love you showed us the first year. I know we're not putting up like crazy numbers, but I'm happy with where we're at. And I think we're getting better. And I think the people that listen enjoy. And hopefully we grow and even more people find us this year. But I'm happy with where we're at for right now.
Of course, and at the end of the day, I feel like as long as we're putting out what's quality to us, giving that to you guys, I don't care. Fucking no one's listening. So do appreciate everybody who takes the time for Instagram posts or just listens. Just tell me what you're listening to now. We appreciate it so much. So congrats to both of us on a year. Let's have another. I felt like we
Yes,
had a
sir.
productive first year, so let's have a productive second. So
And I know we talked about this like 6 months ago, it feels like at this point, probably. But to celebrate 1 year, the merch, it's coming. We're working. Don't worry. The merch will be coming in the next couple weeks, at least pictures of it, and then maybe like pre-orders or whatever. But we're going to start the process of dropping our first merch, some hoodies, maybe a t-shirt, definitely a hoodie though. We're hoodie guys for sure. So we got to get that right, but it's coming. Just stay tuned.
yeah, it's been in talks for quite a minute now. But finally getting the ball rolling, of course, with our 1 year coming up. So stay tuned for that, guys.
We got to get into basketball news. I mean, it's been 2 weeks since we talked about basketball news. Our Paxton men's league team, for those of you who haven't listened before, we give a little update every week on how our men's league team is doing. And, the boys are feeling pretty good today because we got our first win of the season.
I'm feeling pretty good because last week we played a very good team for very close. So I'm also feeling good about that. Two good weeks in a row though. Let's make
Mm-hmm.
it third on Super Bowl Sunday.
Yes, sir. We got to win, and then your Eagles got to pull out a win for you too. I want all
Yeah,
W's
yeah. That's
next
that's the
Sunday.
plan. A clean sweep next Sunday.
That would be beautiful. But yeah, we got our first win of the season. It was a solid game, nothing too crazy, but a win's a win, and on to the next one. So we'll be back next week with more updates on that. But the boys are feeling pretty good right now.
For sure. I'm so nervous for the Super Bowl. I just keep thinking about it. It's not every
Yeah,
day you see your team play for a championship. For me, it's been 5 years, but still all the nerves there. Had to throw that quick little flex in.
yeah, that's really not that many. Like the Eagles just won the Super Bowl feels like, but hey, anytime you're in it, you want to win it. So obviously, I am not a Chiefs fan or an Eagles fan, but I got to pull for the Eagles, obviously, because of you.
Yeah,
I just want to
obvious
see my
ties.
fam win. Just want to see the fam
Yeah,
happy. So
it's gonna be the first Super Bowl. Obviously, last time we won it, I was 16. I want to say. So this will be the first Super Bowl that I can drink, first Super Bowl ever that I can drink. So I'm sure it'll be. I'm sure I'll have a beer or two. So
yeah, just one or two. I think that's the perfect segue to our songs of the week. We've been doing these songs of the week. We each pick three songs, show them a little love. Typically, they have a story to go with them, something that happened in the week. And I'll start us off here with my first song I had. It was Stop Breathing by Playboy Cardi. And, you're talking about having a drink or two. You had a drink or two this night. And it was an interesting night. So, to set the scene, Elijah and I are out with our family. Elijah's grandpa just got inducted into the Hoopston High School Hall of Fame for athletics. The man was a killer back in the day, track and field, cross country, basketball. He was really him. And he got inducted in the Hall of Fame. So that was fire. And then the whole family went out that night, celebrate a little bit. And when I got there, Elijah, I can't remember what song you said you wanted to play on the touch tunes. but I was like, no, play Stop Breathing. And you were like, no, 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 I don't know. I don't know.
Get
Because
nervous, you know.
to set the scene, I mean, it is all people older than, 45, 50.
They could all be our parents for sure.
Yeah, white, very white crowd. Not rap fan crowd for sure. And Stop Breathing is, that's not even like the average rap song. It's a banger. Like it gets
Yeah.
the right crowd fired up. And this was not the right crowd. But I was like, you know what? If you're not going to play it, I'm going to play it. So I started playing Stop Breathing on the touch tunes. We got maybe 30 seconds in before they turned the music off
Yeah.
for the night. We ruined everybody's night.
No, it was a good time. It was a unique moment, core memory there for sure.
Yeah. Sitting
And
there with our aunts and uncles listening to Playboy Cardi was just,
Mhm.
it was a vibe.
I'll segue that into another core memory. This is the number 2 one, but this is always gonna be number 1 in my mind. So this is Lyrical Lemonade, the 9-year anniversary they had when Jonathon and I are driving up to Chicago, and it's a Saturday, traffic, shit like that. And, I'm like, I'm gonna just go the quickest way up there, coming back is a different story. So, I'll find the quickest way up, I'll Mr. Make it happen. I'll get us there on time. So, we're wherever we're going through Harvey, all these Chicago suburbs. And we get a little bit east, a little bit east for sure. And so we come right in South Chicago. We are 2 miles before the White Sox Stadium. We are as south of Chicago as you can get. To put it in perspective, I always use this as the example. We were where Michigan Avenue started. That's how
I've never seen that before. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't never considered where it started. But when we got onto that road, I saw Michigan Avenue, and I was like, we are 20 minutes out. Like,
where's Zara?
Where's the Nike store for real? We were lost. We weren't lost, but we were just,
I knew we were
someplace I'd never been.
So we are south, and I mean, if you're from Illinois, you're from Chicago, even the general area, you know how it is down south. Like you do, that's not a place you want to be, So we're just riding through, just smooth ride. Everything went okay, but I'm playing Pure Souls by I thought of it, light bulb went off, and I rolled both our windows down to the Kanye West part of this south side, and we outside, and that we were playing a dangerous game there, but we were that. I had the whole car of Jonathon and I dying.
That was the most I ever felt that lyric though, because it was the south side and we were outside.
And
so
the best part was,
it was beautiful.
You didn't notice until that part came on. I knew it was coming, obviously. So
and no, I don't listen to Donda that much, and I don't even listen to Pure Souls that much. And so obviously know the song, but I wouldn't have remembered that that line was in that song. And then when we got to it, I was like, oh my God, like my jaw just dropped.
Yeah, you're like, why is he rolling up? Hey, yo, why is he rolling on the windows?
Yeah, you were just like going slow and rolling on the wheels, like this is sus. Like, what are you on? And then I knew what you were on when it hit, but I didn't know until it hit.
Yeah, great memory there. Of course, we've never told that on the pod, so that is like one of the ones that needed to be told on here.
That is a fire memory for sure. I'll move on to my second song of the week, though. It was Magic by Vince Staples. This was just a super light inclusion. Like, it's not my favorite Vince Staples song, but there was a story attached to it. I was watching You People, the Jonah Hill, Eddie Murphy movie, and I'll say the soundtrack was pretty good. They played a lot of like rap songs, obviously, and Magic by Vince Staples. I mean, that was one of my favorites, so I had to give that out here. Have you watched that movie yet?
I have not, so it looks pretty good. So maybe that's why I gotta give it a watch. Magic's like one, I'm never gonna go pursue it, but when it plays and I listen to it, it's fire.
It's a good song, but it's never my first pick.
Yeah.
But overall, movie solid. I would say I would recommend it. It's not like the best movie I've ever seen, but it was solid.
Definitely, we gotta get some more movie talk going on here. So maybe I'll watch it this week. And I remember back in the day, we were all about the movies, all about the TV shows. So
we were. I just am awful about watching movies. So maybe that's a good point, so that I can like get in my movie bag a little bit. I'll start watching movies. Sure. I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe it's something we commit to. We'll see how this week goes. We'll see if I commit to it and watch the movie. I'm a busy man, so we'll see what happens. For my number 2 now, it's listed number 1 in the notes. I have Thunder by Roy Blair. He was in my picks there, of course. Roy Blair drops bangers when he drops. I mean, he hasn't dropped in like 4 years, but Just banger song. Nothing too crazy behind that one.
Good pick though. I like Roy Blair. My last song was Alone Again by The Weeknd. I listened to After Hours like 2 or 3 times in full this week, and it's just such a good album. And I just keep going back to it. And the intro, Alone Again, just brings you into that world so well. Killer intro. Like I would go on a limb to say it's like one of the best intros I've heard. Like it's just such a good. It has such a strong build. It just gets you invested in the album, and it just sets the tone for what you're going to hear. And fantastic. So just had to show some love this week.
Definitely great pick there. For my final one, I got back for a day or two, then fell off immediately. So I'll use this as my commitment on the podcast here. We are on record. I'm back on Bop Drop. Follow Jonathon and I on there if you don't already. So I took a brief hiatus, but one of the tracks I posted was Trance by Travis Scott and Young Thug on the Metro Boomin project. I'll say this pretty confidently. I said it on Bop Drop as well. This is their best collab together.
It's a good track. I'm not mad at that.
Definitely. That song just does something for me. I don't know what it is, but that song, if him was a song, it would be that.
I got to give it a little bit more love. Like I never listened to it too much, but I think I gotta go back
when
to it.
Young Thug comes in, I'm gonna, you know the mean face, like that's yeah.
You hit that stank face, you're feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll have to give it another listen this week. I listen to it here and there, but definitely not as much as you do. So I'm about to show it some love. So I think it's time. Let's get in the topic today's episode. Today is the Grammys, the 2023 Grammys. Last week we would have done our full predictions, and then we would have, had the full week, and they would have been real predictions, so they would have dropped 6 days before the Grammys. But instead, we're going to do some predictions and then some reactions because some awards have already been announced, the winners. So we'll go through general field and then, best new artist and then some of the rap ones, obviously. So let's start off here with the general ones. They expanded the amount of nominees, and it is just crazy. I don't think that was this year. I think it was last year, but it feels like there's just giving out the nominations at this point. Not saying they're not deserving, but it's a long list. So I haven't heard all of them. I'm guessing you haven't heard all of them either, but we can talk about what we know, obviously, and what we think is going to win. To kick us off here, record of the year, Don't Shut Me Down by ABBA, Easy on Me by Adele, Break My Soul by Beyonce, Good Morning Gorgeous by Mary J. Blige, You and Me on the Rock by Brandy Carlisle, Woman by Doja Cat, Bad Habit by Steve Lacy, The Heart Part 5 by Kendrick, About Damn Time by Lizzo, and As It Was by Harry Styles.
I'll go with I'm still not a huge fan of Steve Lacy or the track itself, but just how much impact this one had. Give me Bad Habit by Steve Lacy.
I like that pick. And I think if I was going to pick a personal favorite, it would definitely have to be Bad Habit or The Heart Part 5. But I think my prediction for what's going to win is Easy on Me by Adele. I mean, that song it's so good. Everybody loves Adele. I think it has a really good chance to win. I think it could be that. I think it could be As It Was. But I mean, I would love it to go to The Heart Part 5 or Bad Habit.
Yeah, I kind of, it's a less of predictions I get, or I don't know. With mine, I kind of have that influence of like what I would pick combined with what I also think should win. So try to.
Yeah, and I think Bad Habit has a better chance than Kendrick, I'll be honest.
Yeah, for sure on that one.
But I mean, they love Adele. The Grammys love Adele. So I would definitely not be shocked if she gets it. It's just feels like so long since that song's been out. But I mean, that song went crazy. So I wouldn't be surprised if it ran away with it this year. Same thing going on with like Album of the Year. She's nominated for Album of the Year. So let's move on to that. Album of the Year, we got ABBA, we got Adele, we got Bad Bunny, we got Beyonce, Mary J. Blige, Brandy Carlisle, Coldplay, Kendrick Lamar, Lizzo, and Harry Styles. This one's interesting, very similar to Record of the Year with like no Harry Styles, with no Doja Cat, but it feels pretty similar.
Yeah, this one's pretty interesting. I feel like this one has an outside chance, and this would obviously be my pick here with Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I feel like just the more I listen to it, the more I like fall in love with this album. And I feel like it has, enough influence to be the album of the year, not just rap album of the year. But with that being said, all backup picks going to go to Harry's House by Harry Styles.
Okay. I think that's a good backup pick. I am also going to go with Kendrick here. I think of the ones I've heard, it's the best one, but at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the one that they pick. I think Adele again has a great chance. I think Bad Bunny has a really good chance. Bad Bunny goes crazy. People love
Yeah,
Bad Bunny. I wouldn't be shocked if he won. I feel like that'd be big news for the Grammys, like picking a Latin artist. But I got to go with Kendrick. I mean, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers is such a great album. Yeah, and I mean it's just so deserving of this award. Album of the year. I mean, rap album of the year is such a great accolade, but winning album of the year all genres is just like
that's yeah. It's
such a
and
accomplishment.
Kendrick's
Like,
just a different level. I mean, when Kendrick Lamar's dropping, it's at a different level than what the other categories we're gonna have for rap album of the year. Not saying it's necessarily better, but it's just it's a moment, you know.
and I feel like it's more recognized by the Grammy
Yeah,
people.
no,
Like the
he's one of
people
the
that are
artists.
picking the winners, they're like, oh yeah, Kendrick. Like they
Mhm.
don't show as much respect to so many of these artists, but Kendrick is one that they're always going to be willing to
Yeah, which
go for.
that's disgusting, but you know,
Not
we won't
discussing
get
that
it.
it's him, but discussing they don't
Yeah,
get others.
yeah,
Yeah.
we won't get into it. Yeah,
But yeah, I think this one could be interesting. We'll see. Next one, Song of the Year. You got a slightly different group, but pretty similar group again. A, B, C, D, E, F, U by Gail. About Damn Time by Lizzo. All Too Well, 10-minute version by Taylor Swift. As It Was by Harry Styles. Bad Habit by Steve Lacy. Break My Soul by Beyonce. Easy on Me by Adele. God Did by DJ Khaled. The Heart Part 5 by Kendrick. And Just Like That by Bonnie Raitt.
this one's pretty easy for me. Give me All Too Well, the 10-minute version, of course. If you know me, you ever been in the whip, I'm banging all 10 minutes that regardless of who's in it. So
I like that was another one that it feels like it's been so long since it came out. It actually just
I know
won
this was
for the music video of the year. So, I mean, that was like almost a cheat code because it was that long video. It was like a movie basically,
yeah.
but it was definitely deserving. Obviously, it was a fantastic video. But yeah, I could definitely see Taylor winning here. I love that they have two, rap songs with God Did and with the Heart Part 5 in this category, but I don't really see either of them winning. I think it could be All Too Well for sure, but I kind of want to go with As It Was. I could see As It Was winning here.
I don't hate that as well. Obviously, I'm not going to choose it again because it was my record of the year. So, but yeah, I like that one winning there.
There doesn't feel like that big of a difference between record of the year and album of the year. I know one's about the recording and one's
Yeah,
about the songwriting and stuff. So maybe like those would be switched, but I could see Harry getting one. I could see Adele getting the other one. So we'll see. But I could also see Beyonce. Break My Soul is a great track. I could see that
I
winning
always
either of
I
those as well.
yeah, it's so like well versed out with this. Like it's a tough choice on all these.
hmm I could see Beyonce winning record of the year more than song of the year just because I feel like it's so much heavier on the production and on the song rather than like the songwriting, the music, I mean, rather than the song. So we'll see on that. Next one here. That's all for the generals. Let's move on to, well, there's one more general, I guess, but it's not necessarily an album or song. Best new artist. I'm going to be honest. I haven't heard of a majority of these people. And maybe
Yeah,
that's me being a
no,
bad
no,
music
yeah. I
connoisseur,
mean,
but I
I
don't
don't.
know.
I'm not going to change up my style too much, especially for you know. I mean, it's what I hear. You know, I'm not going to listen to like pop. You know, dedicate myself to pop just for this segment here, of course. But you know,
hmm
like I like that. You know, we bring what we hear and what we want to listen to, of course.
hmm
But with that being said, give me Lotto here.
Okay, Lotto. I like that you get a little bit ahead of yourself. Let's get through all the lists here first, so people who don't know, we
My
can
fault.
make sure they know. They know, you know. The nominees are Anita, Omar Apollo, Domi, and JD Beck. I'm gonna say Mooney Long. Not sure 100% on that. Samara Joy, Lotto, Mainskin, Toby Wigwe, Molly Tuttle, and Wet Leg. You're
Yeah,
going
give me
Lotto.
Lotto here. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Omar Apollo. Omar Apollo had a breakout year. It felt like he's been, like kind of popular for a minute, but this was definitely the breakout year. He went crazy on TikTok, social media in general, and he had a really big year. So I could see the Grammys rewarding that, and that kind of goes along with how good he is as an artist. I think he's very deserving here. But that kind of goes back to the question, is the best new artist curse of the Grammys? I don't know. So for that reason, do I want one of these people I've never heard of to win? Maybe.
For sure. We'll see what happens. You know, I mean, we could maybe we'll have a curse or something. Maybe we'll start cursing someone with our picks every year. So
Uh-huh.
I feel
We
like we need
might.
like 2 or 3 years worth of data to trust that. So
We do. On
we'll
episode
fall
like
off.
300, we'll be able to
Yeah,
go back to
determine.
this and see. Yeah. All right, let's get into some of the R&B ones here just quickly. These have both already been decided, but Steve Lacy won Best Progressive R&B Album, and Robert Glasper won Best R&B Album over Lucky Day, Mary J. Blige, Chris Brown, and more. What are your thoughts on both of these winners here?
W's, obviously I can't say too much about the Robert Glasper, but Steve Lacy project is a W, even though it's not my style too much. But
I love the Steve Lacy album. So happy to see it win here. Big W. Terrace Martin, though, great as well. Would have been happy if he won. And then Robert Glasper, he's so fire. I really love that Lucky Day album, so I would have been pretty happy if he would have won. But happy for Robert Glasper. He's a just amazing musician as well. I have seen Chris Brown was going crazy, like who's Robert Glasper, like all this,
yeah.
like tough.
I
But
always
Robert
love
Glasper is him.
I always love celebrities like just going stupid over stuff like this, like all-star nominations. It's always some good tea, of course.
It is, but it's so tough because I do like feel for them because I mean this is their legacy at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like I feel like getting nominated, is a big enough accomplishment, but obviously winning, I mean that is
Yeah,
only
but
one winner a year, so
to
you
say
want to
who
get
is
that.
someone,
But yeah,
that's bold because I mean they're up there
hmm
for a reason. So
exactly. And it's like if you're making the music and you're not like aware of the other people in your lane, it's like, what are you really doing?
is this the worst thing Chris Brown has done?
No comment.
No
Definitely
comment
not.
there.
Actually, I will comment. It is nowhere near close to the worst thing Chris Brown has
Yeah,
ever done.
I mean, we need to bring up how much of a scumbag Chris Brown already is. So
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised he's still popular. But now we guys have all been waiting for what we're the most well versed in the rap awards. Most of these have already been given out, so we'll basically give our reactions to the winners and pick what we think should have won or what we would have picked to win. Let's kick it off here with best rap performance. The nominees are God Did by DJ Khaled, Vegas by Doja Cat, Pushin' P by Gunna, FNF by Glorilla, and The Heart Part 5 by Kendrick, which did end up winning. What would your pick have been here, or
they've
what
got
did
it.
you want to see the most?
They've got it spot on here with the Heart Part 5 by Kendrick Lamar. Great track, definitely deserving of the winner. I feel like with the options that they had here, but God did.
God did. I thought Kendrick was going to just run through these, and he kind of has been so far. Spoiler alert. It's just crazy to me that the Heart Part 5, which was like the lead up to Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, is the one that's just running it. Like
Yeah,
Mr. Morale is such a good album. They added it to the album late, right? Like it's a bonus track basically.
I believe so. Without
I
looking,
think so too. I honestly don't. I listen to it like in the single version. If I'm going to listen to it, I don't listen to like in this
yeah, okay.
flow of the
It
album. It's
doesn't
just,
have the
I
same
mean,
feel.
yeah, no, but it's a great track and love to see it just go through these. I wouldn't have been shocked if Doja Cat would have won. I mean, Doja Cat, the Grammys love her, and I would have been pretty happy if Pushin' P won. I mean, that would have been a big moment for Gunna. Would have been pretty fire.
Yeah, they don't have no rats at the Grammys.
All right, let's move on. Best melodic rap performance: "Beautiful" by DJ Khaled featuring Future and SZA, "Wait for You" by Future, Drake, and Thames, "First Class" by Jack Harlow, "Die Hard" by Kendrick, and "Big Energy" by Lotto. "Wait for You" by Future did win. What would your pick have been, and what are your thoughts on "Wait for You" winning?
Pretty easily would have been Wait for You. I feel like it just phenomenal performance there. Of course, by Thames, but I don't know. I think pretty easily for me. What's your opinion on that?
I love "Wait for You." I'm not mad that it won, but I kind of would have thought Die Hard would have won. I mean, I feel like I've been saying, the Grammys love Kendrick. I feel like that's a very high quality track. Not saying Wait for You isn't, but Die Hard is just great. I would have been shocked if it won, but I feel like I do listen to Wait for You a lot, so not mad at
Yeah, I
that.
feel like for the melodic part of it, especially, like
hmm
that was a
Yeah, I
clear winner
mean,
for me.
Blast definitely goes crazy on Die Hard, but Wait for You is great. I'm just happy that Jack Harlow did not win.
Yeah, Jack Harlow wins every Grammy.
I would have been shocked if that was the conversation we were having, but I'm glad it's not. All right, next one here. Best rap song: Churchill Downs by Jack Harlow featuring Drake, God Did by DJ Khaled featuring Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, John Legend, Rick Ross, and Friday, The Heart Part 5 by Kendrick, Pushin' P by Gunna, and Wait For You by Future Drake and Thames. The Heart Part 5 by Kendrick has won Best Rap Song at the Grammys this year. Would that have been your pick?
It would not have for best rap song because I would have gone with Pushin' P. Uh, I gonna needs a W off that. He needs a W in his life right now for sure. Um, so I like giving the Heart Part 5 best rap performance, but I'd go best rap song Pushin' P.
I would have stuck it out with the Heart Part 5 again. I mean, that's just the best track on here. And
Yeah.
in my opinion, it's not even really close. Like the Heart Part 5 is
My
crazy.
my comment with that though is like, what is Pushing P? You know, it was so huge at the time. Like, it shit has to come up with a Grammy just for like influence of that, and still nobody knows. Nobody knows what Pushing P is. So it's just
It
Pushing
really
P.
means whatever you want it to mean. I don't know. I feel like the Grammys do like care about how big the song is rather than like the quality of it sometimes. So I wouldn't have been like shocked if Pushing P1, but the Heart Part 5 just clears in my opinion. Let's move on to Best Rap Album. This one has not been announced yet, so we can give our prediction, and then next week we'll be back with our reaction to what the winner was. The nominees are God Did by DJ Khaled, I Never Liked You by Future, Come Home the Kids Miss You by Jack Harlow, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick Lamar, and It's Almost Dry by Pusha T. I
Mr.
think I know
Morale,
where you're going to go
yeah,
here.
yeah. Mr. Morale got album of the year, so fucking It's Almost Dry could get rap album of the year. Been saying it all year. Um, it's the rap album of the year. I ain't got to say shit.
My thing is like, if you don't win your genre album of the year, how can you win overall album of the year?
Yeah, I feel like there's different levels to it though. I feel like is my thing. It has a different feeling, I guess. But to your point there, I like that.
Yeah, I just think that's, kind of questionable. Like,
I feel
I
like
don't know.
general you would give to the general, the general listeners. You view it as a different crowd almost would
That's
be my
valid.
thing. But I wouldn't hate it if Mr. Morale won't hear either. So
I just feel like when it's getting the shine that it's in contention for album of the year, it's like, oh, it's obviously going to win rap album of the year. But with that being said, I hope Pusha T wins. I'm
yeah.
team Push on this. I would just love to see him go home with a Grammy so deep in his career. It'd be a beautiful moment.
What well deserved when it happens.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it hasn't been announced yet, rap album of the year, and I haven't seen like a schedule of when things are getting announced. But I just am praying that rap album of the year is going to be announced during like the actual Grammy ceremony, because last year, an hour or whatever before the Grammys, we found out they Call Me If You Get Lost one. I was just kind of ruins the moment. Like I want to see them go up on stage, get the award, give their little speech, and it's like a moment when they win. And for Tyler not to get that last year just killed me inside, because Call Me If You Get Lost was a masterpiece, and I know he would have been just going crazy on stage.
It's like when they drafted Jokic during a Taco Bell commercial.
Exactly. You just hate to see it. They're just not respecting the rap, but hopefully they learn from that mistake and show it some more love this year. I mean, even though only one of the 4 categories is probably going to get on TV, but hey, better than 0, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be back next week to talk about the winner. Fingers crossed, Pusha T. We'll see though. Let's move on to the news. Like we said earlier, we didn't have an episode last week. So let's quickly talk about the releases from last week, and then we'll get into the releases from this week and some other general news. Starting off with the releases from last week, we got an album from Lil Yachty, singles from Boss, Daniel Caesar, Ray Shremmerd, Slow Tide, Don Tolliver with Zach Bia, and Corday and Anderson .Paak. Pretty good week. One of the best weeks of the year, no question so far.
That Yachty album was something. We're gonna be talking about it. I feel like what would it be, 11 months from now or 10 months from now almost. That album was something. So I'm a little upset we couldn't get our episode out last week to give it its true shine. But yeah, I mean, it was something. It was great.
It was so enjoyable. I feel like it's polarizing, but I loved it personally. You cannot hate on the music of the album. That's the thing, like the production of it. Everything just sounds great. I feel like the biggest complaint people have is that Yachty's vocals don't match the vibe, don't match the music. but I think that's just because people haven't heard that before. You know
It's
what I
it's
mean? Like,
yeah, very unique. It's not
mhm.
something that I would have expected, but it is a huge W.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we got a little taste of it with "Breathe Deeper" by Tam Powell with the remix with Yachty, but nothing on this level. I mean, even just from that first song from the intro, you knew this was going to be just something different than you've ever heard from Yachty. So I really liked it, and we'll see if it makes my end of the year top 10. But right now, I mean, it's number one, I would say.
Yeah,
So we'll see. I mean, obviously, a lot of time to go, a lot of drops to listen to, but very good project from Yachty. If you haven't listened to that, even if you're not a fan of Yachty, I would say give it a listen, just because it's not like anything we got from Yachty before. So definitely give it a chance. Solid
super
week
surprised.
beyond that, though. I mean, the Daniel Caesar single is so good, and then Corday and Anderson .Paak reuniting on their track, produced by J. Cole. That's a trio that cannot miss. Apparently, they have like an EP's worth of material, so hopefully we get some of that one day, because that's a killer trio. They have not missed on the two tracks they put out, and could not imagine what else they have in the stash.
I haven't given a listen yet, but I've got a lot to listen to. I feel like for this year we've been slacking a little bit, but I feel like it's been just like the slow tone already. It's kind of predetermined that, but
I mean, yeah, I feel like we might be slacking, but I feel like the music just isn't dropping like it
like it
was
was.
last year.
Yeah,
So
last
we'll
year. Oh
see.
my, yeah.
Last year we were busy, but I'm sure we're gonna get busy this year. Let's get into this week's releases. Projects from Young Lean, Summers, Ella May, and Wale the Sage, and then singles from JID and Loot, Pink Panthers featuring Ice Spice, Logic, and Black Party and Lotto. Not too crazy of a week, but I gotta show some love to that Pink Panthers Ice Spice track so far.
Uh, Ice Spice, she's something. Pink Panthers W track there, of course. So, um, very enjoyable listen. Is what I got from it. Enjoyable. What did they drop the video on that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very enjoyable video too. But with that, I mean, the Young Lean I want to give a listen to. Um, I've kind of been listening to my music throughout the week. That has been my thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily the night it listens, kind of like the week after type thing.
Mm-hmm. I love that Young Lean dropped this under Jonathan Lean Doer 96. That's so funny because obviously, that should be my alter ego, I guess, as well. But love to see that. I never knew that existed, but there was other music under that name. So shout out to Young Lean. Love to see that representation for all the Jonathans out there in the world. Let's move on here to some of the other news quickly to wrap up today's episode. This happened, 2 weeks ago,
Yeah,
the
it's
night we recorded our last episode. Drake brought out Lil Uzi Vert to perform at his second night at the Apollo W. Would have been crazy to see those two together. Uzi doing I Just Want to Rock. I want to see that at one point in my life. I
I
know I
need
got
that.
to.
I need that for sure.
Next news, 21 Savage was awarded Complex's Rapper of the Year for last year. Would he have been your pick, or would you have gone with somebody else? I think I
Um,
know what you're going to say here.
yeah, I probably would have went a different direction, but a W nonetheless for him to get that shine.
I think it's cool. I mean, looking back on some of the different picks, like it's very cool to see, who they pick. But I feel like some of them haven't aged as well, especially when you start the honorable mentions. You're like, oh, you should have gone with that.
Yeah,
But yeah, 21 Savage had a great year. Personally, I'd probably gone with King Push. He had a great year. We've been showing him so much love today. And in the awards last year, I would have gone with, maybe even JID, maybe Denzel Curry, a lot of deserving people. But 21 Savage had the hits. He had a lot of moments. And so you can't deny that.
definitely a big W there for sure.
Next, The Chronic has been added back to streaming services. Shout out to Dr. Dre, his birthday and my birthday coming up in a couple weeks. So that's a dub. I have to give that a listen just to celebrate our birthdays.
Definitely, definitely great to have it back. Of course, I've been having to spend it on vinyl a lot more since I couldn't listen to it on Apple Music. But such a W. I sent you "Fuck with Dre Day." It's one of the ones I've definitely been missing in the whip. So
Mm-hmm. Fantastic project. So love to have that back. Other news here: Lil Wayne will begin touring in April. W have never seen. Actually, that's not true. I have seen Lil Wayne. I saw him at Chances Festival, but I'd be down to see him again
I
at some point, probably.
yeah, I haven't seen him. So that's one of the lists for sure, along with Drizzy. Maybe those two together at some point in my life. Maybe I
That
should
would
have
be
saw Lil
fire.
Wayne when he's in Danville.
That would have been fire. Next news here, Juice World. His final album's finally on the way, and his catalog has been sold. I'll say this is a W. They have been milking Juice World, his legacy, for everything it's worth. And obviously he has no say in anything anymore, so you kind of hate to see it, but
yeah, definitely disgusting there.
I'm just ready to see it be done.
Yeah,
like,
with the catalog,
I'm ready for his legacy to be closed.
With
I love Juice WRLD. I'll say that for the record, but
yeah, I love him as well. With the catalog being sold as well, it's probably not the last one we're gonna get, because I saw there was unreleased tracks within there. So
so we'll see.
Unfortunate.
Other news here: Tyler the Creator and DJ Khaled were spotted together at the Rock Nation brunch. Funny moment after the mysterious music beef they had. Good to see them drop it, and I don't even think it was ever really beef, but
yeah, but
it's just to be
funny.
Together was fire. Yeah, it was just funny to see them together. Final news here: Rihanna set to headline the Super Bowl next weekend. What has your favorite Super Bowl performance been ever, if you had to pick one?
Last year was so good. That's gonna be tough to beat. Riri's got some tracks though, so we'll see what happens. You'll hear our thoughts about it next week. What has yours been though?
I mean, I got to go with either last year or The Weeknd. They've been killing it these past couple years. I mean, and those are just my guys, so it's been great to see. But yeah, Rihanna, she's gonna kill it, I'm sure. She's got friends. There's gonna be some guests. Gonna be a good performance for sure. Gonna be a big night for you, hopefully. So we'll be back, with our thoughts on the performance next week. We actually maybe the week after, because we're probably gonna record early, so we'll see. But we'll be back next week nonetheless. Fire episode on the way, Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys next week. Peace.